ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णा चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरकृष्णे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकम् भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थसुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, canto 10, chapter 58, verse number 1. So we read in the previous chapter how Satyajita was killed by Sadhanva, then Sadhanva was killed by Krishna. Then Krishna he has gone to Hastinapur at that time, came back because Satyabhama went there to inform. And then Akrura, he went to Kashi, stayed there. So he came back and Krishna asked him to show the gem. And then he gave it back to him. So now the gem story is over finally. You can rest in peace. So, but because of gem, Krishna got 2 gems. One is Jambavati, other is Satyabhama. So now this chapter is 5 more marriages coming in this chapter. That is what is being described here. Shri Shuka Uvacha, Shri Shukdev Goswami said, Ekda Pandavan drashtum pratitan purushottamaha indraprastham gatah Shriman Yudhanadibhirvritaha. So once upon a time, Bhagavan Purushottam Sri Krishna, who is Sriman, who is husband of Shri, so he went to Indraprastha to see Pandavas when he came to know that they are alive, because there was a news that they all died in the fire. So he went to see them, and he was along with other people, Yadavas, and one of them is Yudhan. So Yudhan is same as Satyaki. So that's where he arrived. So of course, in between a lot of time has passed, although it appears as if things happened so quickly. Because this whole thing is when Pandavas, they left and they wandered in the forest, then they married Draupadi, then they came back, because now it became clear that they are alive. So then Dhritarashtra called them and they gave them part of their kingdom, which is Indraprastha. Indraprastha is the modern day Delhi. It's also Khandav 1. It was all forest area basically at that time. Yamuna flows from there. There's an old fort. Some of you came to the book festival, World Book Fair. It's right there. That they say that it was from the time of the Pandavas. This may not be true, but it's called Old Fort. It's popular like that. So that's where Krishna went to meet them. So Ashtapanchasat tametu Pandun Prekshapa Panchasa Kalindi Mitravinda Shri Satyabhadra Salakshmanaha. So in this 58th chapter, there is a description that Krishna went to see the Pandavas, son of Pandus, and then there is a description of his 5 marriages with Kalindi, Mitravinda, Satya, Bhadra and Lakshmana. That is the subject matter of this chapter. Pratitan nashtan api drupad gehe punah sarvai drishtan. So Pratitan means that although there was a news that they all got burned, died in fire, but then they appeared when the time was for marriage of Draupadi. So Drupad Maharaj has invited all the kings, princes to participate in the marriage ceremony of Draupadi. And at that time Pandavas were also staying nearby in a village. And they were living incognito as Brahmana boys, Brahmana brahmacharis, not as Kshatriyas, because they were worried that if Duryodhana comes to know that they are alive, he may get them killed. So Kunti Devi was there and the 5 Pandavas, they were staying in the house of one Brahmana in the village. When this marriage ceremony was there, so there was condition that anyone who is going to pierce the eye of the fish, not real fish, but made of metal, and it was rotating. And you have to look in the shadow in a pot full of oil, and then looking down you have to shoot up. And anyone who can shoot the eye of the fish will marry Draupadi. So these Pandava brothers also went there, not to participate but just to see. It's a big festival, so they were also curious, and they are Kshatriyas. So they were also eager to see who all are coming. So all the people came, Duryodhana, Karna, all these people. Krishna also came there, but at that time they did not meet. So Krishna has seen them. So that's why he says Drupad Gehe. Pratitan Nashtan api Drupad Gehe. That Krishna has seen them in that ceremony. And now he is going to see them here. So Yudhan Satyaki. Yudhan means Satyaki. Drishtva tamagatam partha mukundam akhileshwaram uttastho yugpad viraha prana mukhyam evagatam. So Krishna has, it seems, come there without any information. He had not sent any message that he is coming. So he appeared unannounced, and therefore these 5 brothers who were sitting there, when they saw him suddenly coming, they stood up. So Uttasthur Yugpat, simultaneously seeing Krishna, who is called here as Mukunda. So you know the meaning of Mukunda now. So Mukhe Kundaiva Hasayasya, has a beautiful smile on his face, like a blooming flower of Mukunda, jasmine. And he is Akhileshwara. He is the Ishvara, master of the whole universe. So they were just like Prana Mukhyam Ivagata. Just like the Mukhya Prana enters into the body. So there is a Mukhya Prana called Asanya. This Mukhya Prana is very famous thing in Madhva Sampradaya, right? So it is also described that body functions on the prana only. Once there was a discussion among the various senses, which is most important. The eye, nose, ears. So everybody was boasting that without me nothing can function. So they said, okay, let's see if the body can function without you. So eyes left, body was still living. Okay, the person became blind. But so what? Then the ears left, nose. Finally, when the prana left, then everybody is running behind prana. He says, please come back. So that is the Mukhya Prana. And it has got 5 divisions of Prana, Pan, Saman, Vyanudan, the various functions of the bodies. Then there are 5 Upapranas, Krikal, Devadatta, Dhananjaya. So all these pranas, what makes body function. And all the problems come if the pranas get imbalanced. So that's why pranayam is very good for health. So he says that prana mukhyam eva agatam, as if the mukhya prana has come back. And these 5 Pandavas are like the 5 vrittis of the mukhya prana. So there is prana is only one, but it has got 5 vrittis, 5 functions. And the Pandavas are like that. So therefore they get their function when mukhya prana appears. That's the simile given here. So parisajya achutam vira anga sangha hataina saha sanuraga smitam vaktram viksha tasya mudam yayu. So all the Pandavas who are described here as hero, they embraced Krishna because they saw him, they immediately jumped up and embraced him. And they felt so happy by the touch of his body. Anga Sanga Hata Ainasa, as if all their suffering, distress was removed. And Krishna was smiling out of love for them. Sanuraga Smitam Vaktram Vikshaya Tasya Mudam Yayu. So they all became very joyful by seeing the smiling, happy face of Sri Krishna. So in the previous verse as well as in this verse, the adjective Veera has been used for the Pandavas, means heroic. Because if you want to be a devotee, you have to be hero. Nayamatma balhinena labhya. So weak person cannot attain God. You have to be heroic. Heroic does not always mean physically, but hero in the heart. Because you have to surrender. Surrendering cannot be done by a weak person. That is the biggest bravery, that you can surrender. Otherwise everybody clings. Like we saw, so many people were clinging to the gem. All the Krishna is there. So why are they crazy after this gem when Krishna is there with them? What is the need? So just to show that. So that's why Krishna speaks Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, because he is Veer Arjuna. He is the heroic person. So he is qualified for this. So now all of them, they stood up and they all embraced him out of happiness. So Prana, there is no commentary on this. Prana Indriyani Mukhyam Panchavritti Pranameva. Yudhishthirasya Bhimasya Kritva Padabhivandanam Falgunam Parirabhyatha Yamabhyam Cha Bhivandita. So first they all embraced him, but then after that comes the real protocol. So this was out of love and affection, not following the protocol. So the first one was Raga, second is Vedhi. So now Krishna, he bowed down to Yudhishthira and Bhima. Because Bhima and Yudhishthira, they are senior to Krishna in age. So in India it is a custom that one who is senior, so you bow down to that person. So Krishna Yudhishthirasya Bhimasya Kritva Padabhivandanam. So Krishna himself worshipped or bowed down to the feet of Yudhishthira and Bhima. Although they first embraced him, but now he bows down, which means that he actually puts his head at their feet. That is the meaning of Padabhivandanam. And Falgunam Parirabhyatha. And he embraced Arjuna, because Arjuna and Krishna, they are almost same age. Krishna is little senior. He is Falguna because he was born in Falgun Nakshatra. Krishna is born in Bhadrapada Rohini Nakshatra, so he's just few months younger. But Bhima is like 2 years and Yudhishthira I think 4 years senior to him. And Yamabhyam cha Bhivandita. Nakul and Sahadev, who are described here as twins. Yama means twin. So they bowed down to Krishna's feet because they are younger. So this is how they received each other. So Abhivaditaha Krishna Tasthau. So Krishna was honored by Nakul and Sahadev, means he was standing and they bowed down to him. Paramasne asinam Krishna Krishnam manindita Navodha vridita kinchit chanairetya bhivandata. Then Krishna, he sat down on a big seat, big throne. Although Yudhishthira Maharaj was the king there, but Krishna was given a bigger throne even than him. It was specially meant for him. So therefore it says Paramasane, that a big throne was given to Sri Krishna to sit. When he sat down, then Draupadi came to give respect to Krishna. And Draupadi was newly married, so therefore she is called here as Navodha. So, new bride, and therefore she was little shy, in a very shy manner. Kinchit chanairetya, so she came walking there slowly, and she also bowed down to Krishna. And she is also called Krishna. So in Mahabharata there are 5 Krishnas. There is Krishna Dvapa and Vyas. There is Krishna Arjuna. There is Krishna Draupadi. There is Krishna. And there is one more. Yashoda? No, but she is not called Krishna. These are Kalindi. Yes, Kalindi is also called Krishna. Kalindi Jamuna Jaya. So these are 5 Krishnas. So previously, not now, in India, Krishna color was considered as beautiful. Now, not anymore. Now Indian, especially the girls, are putting, what is that cream? Fair and lovely. So somebody is making millions of rupees selling the cream because they want to become fair. Now you see, even in the ads, you will never see any Krishna girl. And now they even have blonde hair. So much imitation. But if you read Mahabharata or Puranas, then Krishna is considered as beautiful. Draupadi was called, she is called here as Anindita, means flawless. She was one of the most beautiful women of her time. She was born from Yajna. So therefore one of her name is also Yagyaseni. She was born from Yajna. Draupadi, Krishna, Panchali. These are different names of Draupadi. So Krishna, Draupadi. So Krishna here means Draupadi. Navodha, Navam Achira Mudha Parinita. She is called here as Navodha because it was not long before she was married. And she is also very great devotee of Krishna and also very friendly. It's described that Krishna used to make her bread out of affection for her. Because Krishna learned this in Sandipni Muni Ashram. So he has to practice it somewhere. One of the 64 arts is how to, because this is also an art. People go to beauty salon, right? For different styles of the hair. Tie them left side, right side, 2 braid, 5 braid, 1 braid, up, down. So many styles. So Krishna also knew all this. And especially when Yudhishthira Maharaj did the yajna, and then Draupadi is the queen, with Yudhishthira Maharaj. So Krishna herself decorated Draupadi. So very intimate relationship between Krishna and Krishna. Tathaiva Satyakihi Parthair Pujitascha Nishashadasane cha Pujita Pariupasata. So along with Krishna, then other Yadavas who have come there, such as Satyaki, they were also worshipped and given honor. So this was custom to do that. So they also sat around Pujita Pariupasita. Pariupasita means that they sat around. So Krishna is there. So he has a big throne, and then there were other thrones around, because they all came together, so they are all given place to sit next to each other. So they all sat down in different seats. And then Krishna goes to meet Kunti Devi, who is his aunt, father's sister. Pritham samagatya krita bhivadana stayati harda dadrisho tayati harda drisha bhirambitaha aprishtavansta kushlam sahasnusam pitri swasaram pariprishta bandhavaha. So then Sri Krishna, after some time, when he has met everybody, then he went to see Kunti Devi. And Krita Bhivadana Taya Ati Harda Dishabhirambita. So Krishna, see Kunti Devi also received him, and Krishna paid respect to her Krita Bhivadana. And then she also looked at him with great affection and embraced him. Abhirambhita, Arda Drisha, with tears in her eyes. So Kunti is also great devotee of Krishna. And Aprishtavan Kushlam Sahasnasam. So Sri Krishna asked about her well-being and also the well-being of her daughter-in-law, that is Draupadi. When she came there in the assembly, then he did not speak to her. Maybe just gave blessing, but now also he is not asking her directly, but asking Kunti Devi, how is the new bride? Because generally there is a tension between daughter-in-law and mother-in-law, right? So therefore he is asking that Aprishtavan Kuslam Sahasnusam. How are you and how is your daughter-in-law? Are you getting along together? Is she doing nice seva to you? So all this. So Krishna knows all these things, he is asking. And then she was also inquiring from Krishna about her relatives, because she comes from Yadavas. So Pitri Swasaram Pariprishta Bandhava. So she also asked, how are my nephews, how are my brothers, how is Vasudev, how is Devaki, Akrura, all this she asked, exchanging news with each other. So Anyacha Yadavaha Parthai Pujita Pariupashata Krishnam Parita Upasata. So other Yadavas, they were also respected and given seats. Ati Hardena Snehodrekena. So Kunti Devi received Sri Krishna with much affection. Ardres Ajale Drishau Yasya Taya. And her eyes were teary because of love for Krishna. And she is remembering her time in Mathura. So she is very emotional seeing him. Tamah prema vaikalvya vruddha kantha srilochana Smaranti tan bahun kleshan kleshapayatma darshanam. So then she is speaking and describes, because Kunti Devi went through a lot of hard time. First she became widowed and so much trouble was given to Pandavas and they tried to kill, poison, and then kingdom was not given. When they gave the worst part of the kingdom. So therefore tamaha prema vaikalvya vruddha kantha shrulochana. So she has tears in her eyes, her voice is choked out of love and her mind was agitated. So she spoke. And smaranti tan bahun kleshan, while remembering the various suffering which they underwent. Because they have to run away for life and going here and there. So leaving the palace and then wandering and begging for food. And on the way also so many troubles came. This Hidimba came, right? And Hidimbi. So they attacked. So many problems came. But now, Kleshapaya Atma Darshanam. Now she is speaking to whom? She is speaking to Krishna, by whose darshan all the kleshas go away. So Krishna is called here as Kleshapaya Atma Darshanam. That by having his darshan, his vision, then all the kleshas leave. So therefore she prayed that Vipada Santuna Shashvat Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru Bhavta Darshanam Yat Syad Apunar Bhav Darshanam. That let kleshas come, because then you will come and remove. So that is also the meaning. Kleshapaya Atma Darshanam can mean both. That he is the one who gives his darshan when the kleshas come on her. So therefore she was praying for klesha, from problems, that when problem come, he will come and give darshan. So his name itself is Kleshapaya Atma Darshanam. So that is also the meaning, or the meaning is that kleshas go away when you see him. So kleshanam apayo yasmat tadat darshanam. So from whom all the kleshas run away, that is Krishna. Atmani dhyanam yasya. If you meditate on him, then simply by meditation all the problems go away. Tam yad dhyan matrena klesh nasa tam shakshat sanstitamaha. So Sri Vishnu Chakravarti says that simply by remembering whom all the problems go away, that person was standing right in front of him. So what to speak of? Just thinking, but he was personally present. So I don't know if some lines are missing from this commentary. Tadeva kushlam no bhut sanathaste krita vayam jyatinna smrita krishna bhrata me preshitastvaya. So Kunti Devi is very grateful to Krishna, and she says a very interesting thing. She says that for us it became all auspicious and we became protected, certainly, when you, O Krishna, send my brother to look after, to get news about us. Because remember, Krishna has sent Akrura even when he was in Mathura. So he has called Akrura that you please go to Hastinapur. At that time they were in Hastinapur. So Akrura had gone there, he met Bhishma, met Duryodhana, Vidura, remember all this, Kritvarma, Kunti. So Akrura is brother of Kunti. That's why he is uncle of Krishna, because he is Vasudev's brother. So that's why it says, Bhrata me presitastvaya, that here you have sent my brother to get news about us. And she is using plural for herself, means including Pandavas and everybody. So sanathaste krita vayam gyati na smarta, that you are thinking about us. So this is Krishna's greatness, that although he is great, he is Bhagwan, but he looks after his devotees. He is concerned about them. Otherwise, once you become that big, then you don't care. So he is not like that. So therefore, Kunti is appreciating that. Te tvaya yada bhrata krura, that you have sent Krura, who is my brother, to get news about us. So that's very nice that she is acknowledging that. Nate asti swapar bhrantir vishwasya suridatmanaha tathapi smartam shashvat kleshan hamsi hridhi stitaha. So now she is also speaking how great Krishna is, that he is not just her relative and therefore getting news about her or looking after her because she is relative, she is related, she is aunt. So he says, you do not have any illusion of that this is mine and this is not mine. Nate asti swapar bhranti. Why? Vishwasya spruhidatman. Because you are the dearmost friend of the whole universe. You belong to everybody and you look after everyone. So you are not just for me. You are the very Atma of the whole universe and Suhida. So is situated in everyone's heart. Tathapi smaratam sashvat kleshan hamsi hridhi sthita. And although you are so great, yet anyone who remembers you, you dispel his or her suffering. Means you take care of every individual, whoever remembers you. You are not indifferent, although you are so great. You are the source of the universe, but you also listen. If you actually think how a living being is so insignificant and how many living beings are there is no counting of them. And still Krishna can reciprocate with such a small living being. He is so big that universes can emanate from his pores, and yet he can remove the suffering of a small living being. That's the greatness. So swakiya parkiya iti bhrantir brahma. So you don't have any confusion or illusion that these are mine and others are not. Means it's not only because we are related to you through blood, but anyone who is devoted to you, you are concerned about that. So that's the point. Sri Yudhishthira Uvacha. So then Yudhishthira Maharaj is speaking. So that means when Krishna went to see Kunti, the Yudhishthira and Pandavas, they also accompanied her because they don't want to be away from him. Kim na acharitam shreyo na vedaham adhishvara yogeshwaranam durdarsho yanno drishtaha kumedasam. So Yudhishthira Maharaj says that I don't know what good deeds we have performed, O Lord, because you cannot be seen even by the great Yogeshwaras, great masters of yoga. They cannot have your darshan. Yogeshwaranam durdarsha. Yanno drishtaha kumedasam. But we who are less intelligent, we are seeing you. So in Bhagavatam, that instance came when once Narada was visiting Yudhishthira Maharaj, and then he was telling him the story of Prahlad. And then Nrsimhadev appeared and he took Prahlad in his lap and he was licking his body. So then Yudhishthira was saying how great is him. So then Narada said that, what is his greatness? You are the real great person. That all the sages, they are looking for Krishna, but they don't see. So now they are all running to your house because that's where Krishna is. So Vishwam Punana Muniyo Hiyanti, that the sages who purify the universe, they are coming to your house because Krishna is there. So he is speaking so humbly that he is calling himself as Kumedasa, that I am less intelligent. Not only I, he says we are all less intelligent people. And how is that we are able to see you? And even the Yogeshwaras are unable to see. So no asmabhi kim shreya punya karma. What is that pious deed that we have performed to have such an opportunity? Kutsiteshu vishayeshu medha yesham. So Kumedasa, he says that people whose intelligence is focused on useless material objects. Kartri Shashti. Iti vai varshikan masan ragya sobhyarthitah sukham janyanayana anandam indraprasthaukasham vibhu. So in this way, Sri Krishna, he stayed there. How long did he stay? 4 months. It's quite amazing that somebody lives 4 months. So Varshikan Masan, which months? He said these were the 4 months of the rainy season. So he did Chaturmas in the palace of the Pandavas. Varshikan Masan Ragya Swabhyarthita Sukham. So on the request of the king, because whenever he said, okay, now I have to go, he says, stay 1 more week. Because when you ask, you don't ask for 1 day or 2 days. He says, what is the hurry? It's rainy season. The roads are not good. So you stay. Especially in India, rainy season, roads are not good. So he says, please stay. So we saw this in the first canto also. He was leaving, then Kunti came and prayed, then he stayed back. He was about to leave, then he came back. So abhyarthita sukham janayan nayananandam. So he stayed while giving pleasure to the eyes of the people of Indraprastha. Indraprastha avasam vibhu sukham janayan. So the residents of Indraprastha also got opportunity to see Krishna freely. So iti vaiti evam varshikan chaturmasan. Varshikan means 4 months of the rain. Sukham avashaditir shesha. He lived there happily. So previously the rains will come for 4 months. Now it doesn't rain so much except last 2 days. But I remember in my childhood, it would rain like this every year, at least 15 days non-stop. 15 days, no sun, and rain, continuous rain will come. So that was called jhad. So he said, अब तो झड़ लग गया. So jhad basically means dropping. That something is, it's not heavy rain, but it keeps on dropping. And all around water, everywhere there is water. Wherever you go, just water. So that's why it's called Chaturmas. Chaturmas Yajna is also there, that is different. So there is this Yaga. These 4 yagas are prominent in the Vedas. Agnihotra is done daily. Darshpurnmas is done on full moon and no moon. Purnmas is full moon, Darsha is Amavasya. And then Chaturmas. So, after 3 months, 4 months, 3 times, and Somyagi yearly. So this is the cycle of the Yagyas. So this Chaturmas here does not mean that. Here that's why it says Varshikan Masan. So sannyasis don't travel in this period. They sit down in one place. Otherwise sannyasis travel. So now because he is staying there, and now the main purpose why he came there. This was also there, his meeting his devotees, but also there was another devotee waiting. That is being described here now. Ekda ratham aruhya vijayo vanaradhvajam gandivam dhanuradaya turno chakshaya sayakau sakam krishnena sannadho vihartum vipinam vanam bahuvyala mriga kirnam pravishat paraviraha. So once upon a time, Arjuna, who is called Vijaya, that is also one of his name, so he climbed on a chariot which has a flag of Hanuman. He took his Gandiv bow and the quiver which has inexhaustible arrows in it, Akshaya Sayako. He has 2, Arjuna has 2 on both sides because he is Savyasachi. Generally, normal Kshatriyas, they have only one which they put on the left shoulder because you have to pull the shoot with the right hand. But Arjuna can shoot from both hands, so he has on both sides. That's why dual is used. Turnau Akshaya Sayako. So sometimes he pulls the string with the left hand, sometimes with the right, and shoots with the other. So therefore 2 of them. And he is not alone, but he is with Krishna. So they are friends. And both of them Sannadha, so they put on their armor. So they are in the Kshatriya ways. Vihartum Vipinam Vanam. So they went to the forest for hunting. Vihar. And the forest was full of snakes, rainy season snakes, deers, animals. And Arjuna is called here as Paraviraha, that is one who kills the enemy. Only problematic word which I see here is Vanaradhvajam. I don't know how, because Hanuman story comes later, right? It's when they were in the exile and Bhima goes to get that flower, Saugandhika flower. Then only he meets Hanuman. Then only he will get the Vanara. Or maybe he already had Vanara, but then Hanuman said, I will sit. Because this chariot was given by Agni Dev. So that means, and also the Gandiva. So that means they have already burned the Khandav forest to satisfy Agni Devata, who had indigestion because of drinking too much ghee in the yajna for 12 years. So he must have the monkey on his flag. And then Hanuman said that I will actually sit on his flag. So he is called Vanaradhvaja. Just like Krishna is called Garuda-dhvaja. So he is called Vanaradhvaja. So ekada iti khandav dahadi anantaram tadanimeva arjunasya gandivadi labhat. So he also comments that ekada, once upon a time. So he says this happened after the burning of the Khandava forest. Because Agni got indigestion, then he went to Aswani Kumaras. So they said, you need some herbs to get rid of your indigestion. And these herbs are found in the Khandava forest. So you go and eat. So Agni eating means burning. But whenever he tried to eat, which means burn the forest, Indra will come and pour water. It's like these days, if there is a forest fire, then they bring water with helicopters. So Indra was also bringing water with helicopters. And there was no forest fire. That is because his friend was there, Maya. Maya Danav was living in Khandava forest. And he was friend of Indra. So Indra will come. So later on Maya became friendly with the Pandavas and he built the house, this assembly house. So he says this must be after the burning of the Khandava forest, because here in the sloka it is said that he took his Gandiva bow, and this was given by Agni Devata, also the chariot. And the horses were given by Varuna. So Arjuna had very special horses, very special chariot, and very special bow and arrows. So that was his equipment. So now problematic. So get ready to ask questions. So it says, Tatra vidhyat charair vyagran sukran mahishan rurun sarabhan gavayan khadgan harinans chasallakan. So there they killed a lot of animals like tigers, boars, buffaloes. Not these type of buffaloes, but the forest ones like you see in South Africa. Very powerful, they can fight with the lion. And Ruru is type of deer. And Sharabha. So this one very special animal which is described in the Puranas is called Sharabha. This Sharabha is supposed to be an animal which is more powerful than lion. He can kill a lion easily. And he used to have 8 legs. So now it's not available because Krishna and Arjuna killed all of them. So only the name is there. Then Gavaya. Gavaya, you know, Gosadrisha Gavaya. Right? So Upaman Praman, famous example. And Khadgan is rhinoceros. And Harin, and deer. And Shasha, rabbits. And Shallaka is porcupine. Which has those things. So all these things were killed by Krishna and Arjuna. They had a big fight there. And tan ninyu kinkara ragye medhyan parvani upagate tritaparita parishranto bibhatsuryam namagat. And the servants brought these to the kingdom and offered them to Dhritarashtra for doing yajna on the Parva. Parva is that Dars Purnamas. So, but Medhyan, not snakes, etc., but like deer. And then finally, Trit Parita Parishranto, Krishna and Arjuna, they became thirsty. So means it was not raining, and tired. So Bibhatsu Yamunamagat. So then Arjuna, he came to Yamuna river, because this forest was on the bank of Yamuna. So Medhyans Karmarhan. Medhya animal is the animals which are used in the yajna. Ragye Rajanam Yajaitum Ninyu. So they brought them for the yajna. So it must be not the one which were killed, but alive one, because you cannot do yajna with the dead one. So the alive ones, they caught some of them and brought some deer, ruru, etc. Yajaitum Ninyu. Bibhatsu Arjuna. The word Bibhatsu means Arjuna. So now we will describe how they will see Kalindi at the bank of Yamuna, and she wanted to marry Krishna, so they will bring her with them. And we'll stop here if there is any question. Okay, Mohini.
Vasudeva Tattva is the Lord of Chitta, and therefore Vasudeva is also more than Paramatma. Can you please explain of what is Paramatma, the Lord?
Paramatma, your Lord?
Yeah, which Tattva he is residing?
He resides in the heart. Heart Tattva.
Okay. So, is this correct that Brahma is presiding deity of Manas and Chandradev is the presiding deity of Buddhi?
You heard the word lunatic? Have you heard the word lunatic?
I don't understand the English word, but no.
You know lunar?
Yes, the moon?
Yeah. So lunatic means crazy. So moon is the deity of the mind. Brahma of Buddhi. Shiva of Ahankar. Okay, Manjir. Malati.
Babaji, the question which immediately came to my mind about these animals is A, what did they do with all the dead animals if only the alive ones were used for yajna? Why did they do it? And B, we know that there are karmic reactions to all kinds of animal sacrifices, and there are even all these efforts to explain that actually in the Vedic sacrifice they did not kill the animal, they just touched it and all that. So now, of course, if we hear that Krishna himself kills these animals, so what about the reactions? Does Arjuna get any reactions for that, and why are they doing that?
So first of all, people like Krishna don't get reaction. Okay. That we must know.
Yeah, no, it's Arjuna.
I said like Krishna because he is also Krishna. So they don't get any reaction because whomever they kill, they liberate them. Hatvapi saiman lokam na hanti na nibadhyate. So Krishna can kill the whole universe, he does it. He doesn't get any reaction. So that is one thing, they are reaction free because their killing is also blessing. Whomever they kill, they are liberated. What do they do? Those who are killed, they leave them there only. They are not eating meat. They don't bring them for that. It's just practice. So there are two purposes of this hunting. Why Kshatriyas went for hunting. One is to keep their fighting skill, active, because they are not fighting all the time. It's like in the army also does some exercises. We keep on hearing sometimes India and US Army they are practicing, sometimes India and some other country, France, they do practice. So in olden days this was one way of going and practicing. Second is that it's also because many of these animals they cause trouble to the villagers. They come. Like in Europe also they allow hunting in a certain season to keep the balance. Otherwise there will be so many deers that they will go and destroy the whole crop. So they keep certain period in which hunting is allowed. So that was another reason. As far as killing, getting reaction, yes, common person will get reaction. If you perform any action, there is a reaction unless you do it without the sense of doership. Yasya naham krito bhavo buddhir yasya na lipate hatvapi saiman lokan na hanti na nibadhyate. So then you don't get.
Are they setting an example for other people? It seems like when people hear that, oh, even Krishna and Arjuna are killing animals, so we can also do it.
And they are also doing it. It's not that before that nobody did and they are setting example. Here Kshatriyas before them, they also went hunting.
It's just easier to justify it.
No, I'm not saying that they're setting an example or anything. They're just doing it like everyone does.
Thank you.
Narayanji.
Ma'am, Guru Maharaj, my question is from verse 10, where, where the verse is, Natesti Swapara Bhranti. So, I've heard this repeatedly that thinking of the Lord eradicates the suffering, of those who remember Him constantly. But I have never seen a real example of that. Because when I look at devotees, almost all of them are always in some kind of trouble or the other. And it's, it's one of those statements where if you say something against it, you really, you immediately child it as a non-devotee. But on the other hand, you look at most devotee circles, 99% of them always have some financial problem or some health problem or they are always harassed by other people. So how are we to understand this statement?
So understanding is that this came in Gita also. So when Krishna says Sukhe Dukhe Same Kritva Labha Labho Jaya Jayo Tato Yuddhaya Yujyasva Nevam Papam Vapsasi. So he is talking about being equanimous, which means being free from attachment, which means not having, depending on which path you follow, so not having the sense of doership or I'm doing it for Krishna, for bhaktas. So the very word Sukhe Dukhe Same Kritva, that to act equanimously both in happiness and distress, that statement itself shows that distress will come. He is not saying that you will become free from it. Earlier also he said Tan Titikshasva Bharata, that you tolerate them. So there are two things. One is the situation which is miserable situation. Other is to feel the misery, to suffer from it. So just because the situation is such that it is miserable situation does not mean that I am suffering. That's why I gave the example of Kunti. She is saying that let suffering, let these kleshas come to me. She is actually using Synonym for klesha is vipada. Vipada shantuna saswat. Vipada is opposite of sampada. Sampada means wealth, opulence. Vipada is opposite of that. Troublesome situation is called vipada. So she is saying, let the troublesome situation come to us. Now troublesome situation comes does not mean that I suffer from that. Suffering is different. Situation is external situation, and suffering happens at the level of mind. Enjoyment also happens at the level of mind. Just as maybe that is easy to understand, that people can be in an enjoying situation, good situation, opulent situation. That does not mean that they are enjoying. I am sure you have experience of that. That everything is there, everything is nice, and still you are not enjoying. So how is that possible? A poor person will not believe this. Poor person who is utterly poor, he sees a rich man who has big bungalow, house, servants, food, whatever he wants to eat, car, and he is not happy. He cannot be. He says, how is this possible? So now you apply to that the other side also, that there is somebody who has all the troublesome situation and he is not suffering. If it is possible not to enjoy when you have all the enjoying facilities, it is also possible that you have all the troublesome situation and you are not troubled by it. But because we don't have so much experience of it, because this is only possible if you are elevated to that level. But the other is more common, because not enjoying is more experienceable thing, as you said. But not suffering, for that it takes a lot of practice, advancement at the level of mind, not just that I do this every day, I do this every day. So mostly what happens is that we see people changing externally. Externally they are doing something. They are following certain rules, regulations related to bhakti or yoga or dharma or whatever. But these external things do not help unless the change happens internally. Because sukha and dukkha, happiness and distress happen internally and not externally. External situation can be instrumental in it, but it cannot force you. Just as the external situation cannot force you to enjoy. If that was the case, then rich people will be forced to enjoy. But we know that a lot of rich people who are not happy, they are completely miserable. That's why they drink, they take drugs, or they even commit crimes, or they even go to the extent of committing suicide. That's unbelievable. If wealth gives happiness and all the situation gives happiness, why this person is committing suicide? He is so rich, he has got $1 million in his bank account, or maybe even more. When there was this economic crash down in America, some billionaires became millionaire, and because of that they committed suicide. So now for a poor guy person it looks crazy. But okay, he was billionaire, now he became millionaire. So what, But this was like a death for him. He killed. Or even if he did not commit suicide, he was miserable. But is there an actual reason to be miserable? No. From external situation point of view, he can still live the same lifestyle which he was living when he was billionaire.
So Guru Maharaj, just so
Is it clear to you?
Yes, I just want to paraphrase it because there were many points you covered. So if I were to paraphrase it, are you saying that by Smarana of Bhagavan, automatically you develop asakti, you develop, I guess, more attachment to Bhagavan, and you gradually become detached from everything, not by artificial effort, but it just happens as a consequence. And because of that, you really kind of transcend the dualities of happiness and distress, and that is perhaps what is indicated here.
Yeah, this smaran is not just that I take the name of Bhagwan. This smaran actually means smaran of Bhagwan and knowing yourself in relationship. So once you know that, what is the problem? Once I understand that Krishna, as he is called here, he says, Vishwasya Sruhidatmana. If I actually really know that Krishna is my Sruhida, not only mine but whole universe, where is the cause for me to suffer? Tell me.
Yeah. Guru Maharaj, actually, one of the other reasons I asked this question also is because this is in many spiritual societies, very large ones. Often these things are explained as, by worshipping Krishna, he takes away your material misery.
So now try to understand the truth. You may have heard so many things. That is fine. But now try to understand the tattva behind these statements in a practical manner. That you may have heard and you don't see corresponding effect or a corresponding behavior of devotees. But once you understand what it really means, because these people are living like that. So there must be some discrepancy in our understanding and their lifestyle, and their understanding. So we have to remove that.
There's a question from Satya Sandhaji. So he asks, what is the difference in rasa, mood and way of service and worship, etc. between the devotees of Balaramji and Krishnaji? And the question comes because in the last class there was discussion of Balaram going to his devotee in Mithila.
He is also devotee of Krishna. Krishna will also go there. So there is no difference. When we are talking here about Krishna and Balaram, they are one. It's not some separate thing. So Krishna will also go there. There is no difference. Okay?
Thank you, Maharaj, for the lecture. I would like to ask, in the beginning part of the lecture, there were various, like number 5 mentioned, like 5 Pandavas, 5 marriages in this chapter, 5 Krishnas in Mahabharata, and 5 Vritis of Prana. So I would like to ask if there is any like hidden meaning to that, or...
Well, hidden meaning is 5 is easy to count. You have 5 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is easy to count. It's practical. That's how the decimal system came. You have 2 hands, 10 fingers. So that's the practical application.
Thank you.
So this philosophy is manifest here. The human body is Sankhya personified. We have 5 senses, 5 working senses, 5 cognitive senses, 5 sense objects, right? So all these 5 types of kleshas, 5 types of vidya, 5 types of avidya, all this are there.